Fire in the hole! Let's cook a steak! Stay tuned! Hello and welcome once again to my barbecue grill. What I got for you today is this is a piece of a strip loin roast. This is known as a New York roast. What this is a piece of a strip loin. Normally a strip loin is like 3 times as long as that, like about that long. What we're going to do with this is this little strip loin, we're going to trim some of the silver skin and fat off the bottom of it with my boning knife, good sharp knife. Get a lot of this fat off of here, off the bottom of the roast. You could cook this as a whole roast if you wanted to, but I'm not gonna. What I'm gonna do is cut it into steaks. This is a New York roast. They call this a New York roast. And what I'm gonna do is cut it into New York strip steaks today. I'm going to trim off a lot of the fat. It's got a lot of fat on it. That's okay. You know what they say, fat is flavor. Let's get this off of here. See any silver skin or connective tissue, we want to get that off of there. That won't render out. It won't be good. So we're going to just get it off of there. It's like a vein of fat right here I want to get rid of. So I'm going to trim that up. Any kind of fat that you don't see, that you don't think is going to render out, just get rid of it. It's not worth wrangling with. Look at that pile of fat I've got already. Let's get some more. Right here, we'll dig in right here, get a little bit of that. I don't remember how much this weighed, but a lot of it is going to be discarded as bad fat. A lot of it. It's got a big fat cap on it too. I'm not going to trim the fat cap too much, but I do want to get this. There's no bone in here, it's just all meat and fat. I want to get this fat off of here. Since I'm cutting this into steaks, dig in here and get this piece of fat off of here. Go a little aggressive with it if you have to. Right about there. So I'm going to cut myself. I got a cutting glove on, but that doesn't always help. Yeah, we're getting that trimmed down like that. I think I got to take a little bit more of that out of there because it's really not good. Now I'm going to show you here. This is what a strip steak looks like, and it's got all this fat on it. You could cut this tail off, but I don't think I'm good. I think I'm going to leave it for presentation's sake. But what I'm going to do now is take a knife, and I'm going to divide this into 3 really thick New York strip steaks. About that thick. That's pretty thick. It's thicker than normal for a strip steak. Normally a strip steak might be a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick. An inch at the most. This is going to be 1 1/4 inches thick. And I'm just going to cut right down through here with my knife. Cutting right down. Oh yeah, getting it done. The grill is getting hot. Getting up the temperature and the smoke's getting in my eyes. Let's keep on cutting until we get the first of 3 huge New York strip steaks. These are going to be so big. My knife's not sharp enough. I wouldn't have to saw like that, I'll tell you. I am going to trim some of that fat off the top though. Here we go. We're getting it done. There we go. There's the first. The first of 3 New York strip steaks right there. That's going to be a really nice thick steak, and I am going to take some of the fat off of that from here. I'm going to drop that off of there. I don't want that fat on there. Just going to trim that up real well. See, it's getting smaller and smaller as I start to trim. I start to take off the fat. There you go. Here we are. New York strip steak. A New York strip is part of a ribeye. If you had the decal on here, the decal from the ribeye, you'd have a ribeye. But this is like a very good cut of beef, nice beefy flavor. Get this fat cut off here. I want to leave some fat on there. Don't want to take all the fat off of it. But I do want to lessen the amount of fat that's on there. And I'm going to leave the tail on there. There's a big chunk of fat there that's not going to render, but there's a little bit of meat in the tail, and it just makes for a nicer presentation, I think, if you leave that on there. So we're going to cut down through this fat here and leave that on there. This is a really thick New York strip steak. How does that look? A beautiful New York strip. I got a little bit more fat that I can take off of there, right there. I don't need to, but I'm gonna. Anyway, yeah. So we left some of the fat, and we've got a really nice thick steak. And I got to cut one more of those, one more cut, and then we're gonna season them up and get them on the grill. So stay tuned. All right, my 3 beautiful New York strip steaks are trimmed. I just wanted to show you all the fat that was left over. All this is fat. You could render that down into beef tallow, or you could just toss it, which I think I'm just going to toss it. I got my 3 beautiful steaks. Let's get them seasoned up and get them cooking. Stay tuned. I got my 3 steaks ready for seasoning. I just wanted to talk about seasoning a little bit. Oh, and don't forget, Searing stir fry oil. That's your binder. That will help the seasoning stick to the meat, and it also brings a beautiful garlic flavor to the meat. Let's get that rubbed all over the steaks. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Now, I bought this steak seasoning a while back. This is called Lane's Steak Supreme. I was not impressed with it. Normally, I might use this. This is Lane's SPG, salt, pepper, garlic. But I recently found this, Lane's Shaken Steak. This stuff is the bomb. I don't know if you can see that. See what's in there? I gotta tell you what's in there. I don't think I can read that tiny little writing, but it's got like salt flakes and red pepper flakes, pepper, garlic, onions, all kinds of great stuff in there. I'm going to use this to season my steaks. I'm going to put that on. These are thick steaks, so we're going to put it on heavy. It's got salt. I don't know what all it's got in it. It's got all kinds of stuff. Can you see that? I'm going to zoom in on that so you can see that seasoning. It's amazing. It's the best. I didn't like the Steak Supreme seasoning at all, but I really like this one. And this one is perfect. It's got that flaky salt in there, you know, and the pepper, black pepper, red pepper. It's just awesome. I got to zoom in on that so you guys can see what's going on with that seasoning, because that stuff is amazing. Stuff is, I don't know, can you see that? That stuff's awesome. Anyway, we're going to get these patted down, let them sit here a while the fire gets hot. Let me zoom back out. You know what the green bastard always says, ZTFO. Zoom back out. ZTFO. We're going to get both sides of these rubbed down a little bit, let them brine a little bit. There's salt in that seasoning, plenty of salt and pepper. We'll do both sides of the edges as well of these beautiful steaks. We'll sop up what's on the cutting board. These are nice. They got a little bit of marbling. They're not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let me get the other side seasoned. We'll get them on the grill and reverse sear these puppies, so stay tuned. Okay, my steaks are on the fire opposite the hot coals, so I want to talk to you guys for a minute about thermometers. I have a plethora of thermometers available to me. I have this meter thermometer, a wireless thermometer. I never use it. I have the Meat Stick 2 wireless thermometer. I never use it. I have my Inkbird instant read thermometer. Now, I use this a lot, and the reason I do is because it has this infrared function that you can just point at something and tell the temperature of it. But the one I'm using today is an Inkbird, very simple, one probe, battery powered thingy. The steaks are at 54 degrees. They have to come up to 120. I'm going to put the cover on that and let them cook. I got a really hot fire going. And when they're done cooking internally, then we'll take and sear the outside of the steaks, and that'll be time to eat. So yeah, it's very simple. One button, on, off. No cell phone needed, no smartphone. For these, you have to have a smartphone. By the time you get the interface booted up and connected, you could have done cooked the meat. It takes too much time. This thing is great. It's great for instant read if you want to just do an instant read, or if you're using a griddle and you hit IR and it tells you the surface temperature of the griddle instantly. That's a good thermometer. This is also an Inkbird. This is also a great thermometer. But these two, I never use them. So if you're thinking about buying a wireless thermometer, I would think twice. Get one of these cheapo wired ones that tells you everything you need to know. That's all you really need. So that's all I want to say about thermometers. I'm going to put the cover on that, let that cook, let that meat get up to 120. Then we're going to cook it, we're going to sear it, and then we'll get it off there and eat it. So stay tuned. We're at 120. It's time to get the thermometer out and do an internal sear. Not an internal sear, but the reverse sear. I want to spin the grate around because that side of the grate is too hot to put the steaks on. Spin them around like that and let them, all three of them at once, which is crazy, get a good sear on them. It's not going to take a minute. Won't take very long at all. Let's just a few seconds on each side. You could probably sit through this. Got a hell of a fire going. Flip that one over. Oh yeah, that's gonna be mine right there. Flip this one over. The fat's in the fire now, babies. The fat's in the fire now. Oh yeah. Now you're talking. What do you think of that, Guga? Have I got it going on? Hope that my sign don't catch on fire. If it does, I better move my steaks. Better move my grate around. Let's do them one at a time. We'll just sear them up one at a time. Let me get these seared, get them on a plate, we'll let them rest. While they're resting, we're going to drink a beer, so stay tuned. My steaks are done. We're going to let them rest a while. I put some compound butter on there that I made with parsley and herbs and garlic. We're just going to let them sit over there for a while. We're going to drink a beer. Today's beer, Pabst Blue Ribbon PBR, baby. The original. One of the best beers you can buy, still in production after years and years. Established in 1844. Does that sound right? 1844. Let's pour that beer out and let's take a sniff of it. I'm sure it's good beer. I've had it before. A beautiful pour. Another beautiful pour. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at the color of that. It's almost a pale ale. So beautiful. Let's sniff the sniff off of that. Oh, that's great. That's a great beer. That's a classic beer. And that's the perfect beer to have with a steak. Let's quaff the froth off of it. Ah, very refreshing. It's hot out here today. It's supposed to cool off next week, but right now it's super hot. If I put that there, it's going to fall on the ground. So yeah, my steaks are not done resting, but as soon as they are done resting, I'm going to slice them up. We'll do the thumbnail, although that's not a bad thumbnail right there. I think it'll be a better thumbnail if I slice them though. So let me get some steaks sliced up, put back on the plate, and then we'll take a taste. So stay tuned. Yeah, my steak is done. How's it look? Can you see? Oh man, that thing's ready to go, baby. Let me tell you what. Let me show you this piece right here. Look at that piece of steak right there. Perfectly cooked. What a crust. I can't wait to get this in my mouth. Oh my gosh. That's delicious. I got a napkin. Got my keys. Got my napkin. Mmm. Oh. That is outstanding. Babies. Mmm. Mmm, mmm, mmm. You know what I always say, babies. Try this recipe. You won't be sorry. Get one of those New York strip loins. Get the whole strip loin. Cut it up into steaks. Or just get that New York roast. Cut it up into a few steaks like what I did. And you know what? That's one of the best steaks I've ever had. Even, bar none, even including a ribeye. It's delicious. I can't stop eating it. I want to get another piece. I made that compound butter with that garlic. Look at that. Mmm. Ah. That's good. What a great beefy flavor. Just the best. Babies, you know what I always say? I say if you like this crap, please subscribe. If you don't, I offer you to go up in the iCard and check out another cooking channel that I found. And I recommended her last week, but I'm going to recommend her again. I think it's called Jane's Simple Recipes. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I forgot about it last week. Anyway, that'll be in the iCard right there. Subscribe to me, Root Boy Cooks. You know how it goes. You know, squeeze the pony, ring the bell. You know, do all that crap. Come back next week. We may not cook anything good, but if anything is good as this steak, it's my mouth is reverberating from the wonderful taste of it. So, all right, babes, we'll see you next week. Bye.